This is a Fatal 4 podcast.
He's kept this match. Oh, wait. Juice! Oh, my. Buster onto the apron. I'm not sure Juice got all of it.
Welcome to Didn't Get All of It. In a week that has little to no news, we're going to talk about a lot of TV stuff, like Raw is back to 2 hours, NXT is back to small buildings, and I dreamed that AEW had a pay-per-view this weekend. I feel like that happens every week, but it's happening this weekend too. I'm Paul Griffin, and joining me are a couple of the Fatal Four, including Pro Wrestling Noah, who just ate a pizza.
Yeah, it was teriyaki chicken pizza. It's delicious. It comes with a little like spicy ranch on the side. Oh boy, love that
chicken
pizza.
Teriyaki boy.
That's right.
Also here, he ate a blue waffle. Kody.
Hold on.
What is this?
That's what it said in there. That's what it said in the chat. Google it, Noah.
I did not.
Make sure we're recording when you Google it.
I ate
One
a
incognito.
purple Whopper, is what Paul meant to say. Hi,
Purple
folks.
Whopper.
Yeah, I had the Addams Family Burger King collab meal thing.
Addams Family. Is that relevant right now?
Sure. It's spooky. It's spooky time, right?
It is.
Oh
I
yeah.
was gonna say it's Wednesday, but it's Thursday. You know what that means.
Yeah.
God.
I have a little rant to go on though, because yes, I did try the purple Whopper today, and I wanted to try the churro fries, but when I went to Burger King today, they didn't have any. Today's the first day of the promotion. How do you not have any churro fries?
Some places don't have it on there. I've experienced that too, Kody. I've experienced that pain. I'm on the lookout for the Krabby Patty myself, personally.
Okay, that's another rant I want to go on. That Krabby Patty collab with Wendy's, that shit sucks.
What? Why?
There's nothing special about it. It's
got a
just
fun
like
box.
No, it doesn't. It comes in a regular old wrapper.
Wait,
and
what?
then
Maybe I saw
it
some
just-
fan produced stuff.
it just comes in a regular old Wendy's wrapper, and then it's a regular ass Wendy's burger, except instead of mayonnaise and ketchup, it's like Krabby Patty sauce, whatever the fuck that is.
I was to say it's got the secret formula.
Okay, but Krabby Patties famously have sesame seed buns.
That's true.
Where's the sesame seed bun? Huh?
I need
Come
that
on,
kitty
Wendy.
patty. It's got little
This is
straws
bullshit.
in it. That was the fun toy.
Guys, I never eat fast food, and I'm really upset about it.
Is
I
it
can
good
never
we
bring
eat
myself
fast
to do it.
I do it too much, honestly.
I don't want to say it's because people or things cost too much money now, but fast food costs way too much fucking money, and that's why I'm going to vote for Donald Trump.
Okay, hold on.
Also, the part of the city that you live
That's
in, you're surrounded by way too much good food to like ever be tempted by fast food.
I have so much. I have every fast food like less than a mile from my house that I could go to, and I never do. And
Yeah, you
it's
can
because
walk
Joe Biden
to
turned the fast food
most-
knob up too high.
You can walk to the most delicious Mexican restaurant in town.
I
Why would you
really
go anywhere else.
I'm so mad at people that are like things cost too much money. It's the president. Like I cannot fucking get over how stupid that is. Meanwhile, McDonald's is just like raking in record profits as they charge $20 for a fucking Big Mac and a small fry.
Listen,
like,
I googled.
don't know what happened here.
I googled how to invest in crypto. I'm pretty sure I'm a economy expert.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah, I got the Ethereum. I don't know what. I don't know cryptos. Is Dogecoin still a thing?
It is when Elon wants to pump and dump it.
Hmm.
What a gross
GameStop.
terminology for money.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't use money. Use real money.
Yeah, because it works.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I
Yeah.
mentioned going to the isidewith.com and figuring out where your allegiance lies. And the thing that I did this week, and normally I don't encourage people to seek out the Pod Save America stuff because they do lean, but I did check out their build your own ballot website that they've been talking about recently, because if you're a Texan like me and Noah, something interesting that has occurred in the last several years is that Beto O'Rourke ran against Ted Cruz and almost won. And that was at a time when we had straight ticket voting. And because a bunch of down ballot Democrats won, they changed the rules. So now you can't do straight ticket voting anymore. And they removed the party affiliation on the ballot. So when me and Noah go to the polls, they just give you names and say, pick them. There's 60 things we have to vote for.
I have to I have to do research and write all the stuff down on a note and bring a piece of paper into the polling place like some kind of caveman.
Yeah, because you can't bring your phone in. Your phone can't be out while you're voting because you might try to do a hacking. So I checked out the build your own ballot because I'm never able to like find any information on anybody like after the top 3 on the ballot. And also I don't know like who's running ever. So I checked it out and not an ad. It's actually pretty efficient. It gives you like little blurbs about every candidate and like what they stand for. They're not leaning. They just tell you what it is. And I assume this is prevalent in every other part of the country too. So I think it's at votesaveamerica.com. You can put an email address and your address, and they'll basically let you go through your ballot and pick who's on it. And then they'll email you your selections and you can just take that to the polls and shove it.
I'm Googling that right now.
It's pretty great. I picked like 58 different ones. I thought it was super helpful. They even had like some down ballot races that nobody would even think of that all had blurbs of, you know, who's running and what they stand for. So more stuff to help you vote because it's less than a month away. I would prefer you vote for somebody. And if you don't have the same preference as me, don't go to the polls, as Howard Stern would say. Skip it. Anyway, you could also go to McDonald's for $20. You can get some French fries and a small cheeseburger.
Or you can get their new chicken Big Mac.
That looks really good.
It does. That's going to be my next time I get fast food. That's what I'm trying.
I'm pretty stoked
with Burger King today.
My favorite thing about like moving outside of getting out of Texas is that I have to drive to my new house, which is going to be a 15-hour road trip, and I can't wait to just stop and eat bullshit the whole way.
You're gonna have access to Bojangles in your new place, right?
There's a Bojangles down the street from my house, I think.
God, I need to come to Paul's house.
Come on down. I got a guest room.
Get that Bojangles. Never had Bojangles. It looks good.
I've never had Bojangles. Hang on, I'm pulling up a map. I think it's down the street from my house.
Various fried chickens. There's a Jollibee someplace in town here that I need to go to. I passed by it once.
Ooh,
I can ride a bike to my nearest Bojangles.
Ugh.
It's on Lawyers Road. I'm just gonna dox myself if anybody wants to find me in a few months. Come on down.
Need to get on a plane though. Apparently, I have a nice route to it.
Yeah, not a bad spot I'm going to. Looking forward to it. Things I'm not looking forward to though is this episode of the show, because normally there's like a week between these, and there was this week too. And during that week, stuff happens. Nothing happened in wrestling.
Nothing fucking happened.
Nothing happened at all. So
there was like a lot of talk about stuff that might be happening, but like
what? What might be happening? What'd you hear?
Well, the WrestleMania thing about next year. That
what was that?
Like,
tell me about it.
Is well, so you know, if you watched Bad Blood at the very end, you saw, hey, The Rock's here, and now people are saying that it's not like there's no firm plans, but people are saying like, hey, maybe The Rock versus Roman versus Kody in a triple threat will be a thing at WrestleMania 41. Wouldn't that?
I cannot stress how much that fucking sucks.
I don't know. I mean, the tag match and the Roman versus Kody at WrestleMania 41 or at WrestleMania 40 XL were both really good.
Yeah, that was good because it was the Avengers. Now we're in phase 4 and we're getting fucking Dwayne Johnson all along trying to work himself into a bad WrestleMania. I don't want him in the world title match against Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, he's got his own belt.
I mean, I think
They
Cody
should fight,
versus
they should
Roman.
fight him for the People's Champion.
I think Cody versus Roman does not need to happen again in any form for a while. Like you could do Cody versus Rock, sure, or Roman versus
Cody
Rock.
versus
my
Rock
opinion.
is the match. That's what you should do. It should be Rock versus Roman, and then Rock versus Cody 2 nights in a row. Winner faces Cody at the next night. Who beats Roman? The Rock. Because Roman couldn't get it done last year.
And they really wanted to do Rock versus Roman last year, right? Until they pivoted and they were like, "Oh, this is the plan all along."
I think you can beat Roman with The Rock because like one of them's good and the other's Roman Reigns, so that's fine. I think that's a fun idea. Now I've talked myself into it. In a week that all my fantasy booking hasn't come true, I'm going to start a new one.
Yeah, I think that's the worst part about having to record this episode is that everything we talked about potentially happening on the Bad Blood episode last week, none of it's happened.
Turns out
now I'm sad.
We don't know what we're talking about, or we do, but they didn't do it.
Or they were going to do it, heard our podcast, and we're like, "Well, shit, too predictable. Now we got to change."
That's a good point. Plans changed. They were going to have Sami Zayn beat Gunther with help from Goldberg, but then they heard us and they told Goldberg to stay home.
Yeah,
they said it leaked. We can't do it. Yeah, I don't want that triple threat at Mania. If that's the case, though, I'm sure we'll talk about that plenty. What's another thing that's happening? Oh, they started showing the Motor City Machine Gun promos for SmackDown. That's fun.
Do we know what's Motor City Machine Guns?
What about them?
I'm saying, are we sure it's them? I mean, it's all they showed was like cars and Detroit. I didn't see any machine guns though.
Give it time. They'll put Carl Anderson in there. That'd be so funny. How come Luke Gallows doesn't pick up Carl Anderson and pretend to shoot him like a gun?
like he's Megatron. He transforms to a gun and then shoot him.
Yeah, you just pick him up and like spin in a circle going. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh wait, no. Now I'm thinking of like the videos where people like grab their cats by their legs and shake them, and they go.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Like a gun.
Yeah, you pick them up under their legs and you just kind of spin around the room going. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Maybe maybe the Good Brothers would win if they actually used Carl Anderson as a gun. Instead, they're losing to fucking Public's Enemy on NXT.
It's still so funny that they're on NXT.
And losing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know they're not great, but like they're very capable. They shouldn't be there as enhancement talent for talent that needs enhancing.
Yeah, but like I'm also like mad that they're there, you know.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. I don't know. I think we bantered enough. That's it, everybody, for this week's episode. No, we're going to talk about Raw. It's 2 hours now, which some people said was good, but as someone who watched it, I could have used a third hour.
No. It was very refreshing to be able to just like turn my TV off at 10 p.m. Eastern and do
I didn't know what
else.
to do. I didn't know what to do with that extra time.
I'm just picturing Paul just sitting there with, like on his couch, hands folded, staring at a blank TV for an hour.
No, I put on MSNBC and I'm like, this is not when this is supposed to be on. I don't like this. I have to wait an hour for the Daily Show. What the hell? I have a whole routine and they fucked it up.
I will say, I mean, it was obvious, like, there are some, I don't know, growing pains, I guess you could say, associated with them having to pivot to 2 hours all of a sudden, because it did feel like, hey, like, where's Alpha Academy? Where's so-and-so? Like, there were things definitely that felt left off the show. But I think
they can't fit all the shit in.
Yeah. Meanwhile, everyone who watches the show on Hulu is like, yep, this is normal. Alpha Academy? I don't even know who those guys are.
They had to do a 10-woman tag match of like the least over talent they have.
I think they'll, find their footing and get used to booking 2 hour Raws, within a month or so, and it'll be so much better.
I wonder if being forced to book 2-hour shows for a few months will make them book better 3-hour shows when they get to Netflix.
I don't know. Are you so sure that we're getting 3 hours? Because
Why would Netflix pay all that money for a 2-hour episode?
Paul Levesque said at the Bad Blood press conference that he does not know how long the shows on Netflix will be.
He also said he doesn't see color. You want to analyze everything again? He says a lot of shit.
Okay.
I'm sure Netflix knows what they want. They didn't buy the rights to Raw for it to be quick.
2 hours
Raw's
is quick.
been
2 hours is a long
Raw's
time.
been a 3-hour show for like a decade. They bought that show. For them to give them all that money and be like, you don't have to do all the work. That's not how this works.
I wonder what the ad like on Netflix.
I don't
Like,
know.
I
I pay all
assume
the extra money for it.
I assume you'll still get like general products and stuff, but you're not going to get, like you would get a lot of like advertisements for, USA shows or whatever. But now I guess you'll see a lot of ads for Netflix stuff, which they don't.
I think Netflix has ads now, but I don't know what they are. I assume it's just more like the same kind of ads you see on Hulu or YouTube.
Yeah.
Like political ads and
toilet paper commercial.
Better Help. That Lumi deodorant, Blue Chew. Let me think. What other ads have I seen?
I don't think we're going to get any ads. I think we're just going to get blatant product placement during the shows.
Cody Rhodes getting drunk on Wheatley.
Yeah.
It's
what
so
would they
good
do with all that time, though? Yeah, I hate that song so much. I don't know if they I don't know what they do with the time, because 3-hour Raw is really more like 2-hour and 15-minute Raw, because there's like 45 minutes of commercials.
Right, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe Raw on Netflix looks like a 2-hour ad-free show. Still the same amount of content that Netflix was buying, but the ads have been cut away.
That'd be a better.
It'll be like a PLE.
experience.
They'll still do, their tie-ins and whatever, and there will be advertising on the show, but I don't think we get like Suicide Dive and after this as Raw rolls on. Like we're not going to get that on Netflix. I don't think.
I don't think they should. If they can avoid it, they should.
Because like all their other live stuff hasn't had like in between ads like that, right? Like, I mean, I think the only live thing I've watched on Netflix is the Joey Chestnut hot dog eating contest thing.
Oh, you should watch Dinner Time Live with David Chang.
I don't even know what that is.
It airs on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern, and it's David Chang, the cooking guy. He's a chef. You may or may not know him. He started like the Momofuku chains in New York.
I do not.
Very famous in the cooking world. And he hosts a cooking show where it's him cooking for 2 guests, and they're generally like comedians or actors or something. And he just cooks them meals for an hour, and there's no editing. It's just cooking. So as opposed to like if you watch the Food Network, they obviously have commercials and editing. He's fucking up dishes in front of them and fixing it. It's really impressive, and it's great, and the guests are fun. I highly recommend. If you're looking for a live thing to watch on Netflix, it's that. And if it's as soon as it's over, you can stream it. So like if you need just noise, it's a good noise show.
That sounds nice. I think just today they announced that John Mulaney's getting a late night show on Netflix.
Is he?
It's like live. Yeah, I think I saw that. I think Discussing Film tweeted that out today.
Yeah, some like
that's interesting considering late night is just booming right now. Everyone loves live late night, except for I particularly do.
I have to say, that's you. You're the audience for that.
That's for me. That is right in my Q zone. Well, that's a good reason for him to host SNL this year and become a 5-timers club.
Are you seeing that movie? Comes out tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going on Saturday.
Night. Saturday? Okay. I think I might see it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's like...
And I don't even have like...
Of all the movies I want to see, that's high on the list.
I don't even have like a affiliation with SNL, really. I've never been an SNL watcher, but the trailer looks good.
SNL rules.
Are you guys going to see The Apprentice?
I just don't want to think about that guy.
Do I have to go
like
to
the movie
theater?
Doesn't even look bad. I
think the movie looks really good. That's the thing. Is like
I hear it's great.
I'm a little conflicted about it too, but
I like the actor. I just don't want to think about that guy.
I would love to like live my life without that guy in it.
Man, you guys really don't like Bucky, huh?
Well, I'm
That's,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. I like that guy. I just don't want to think about that guy.
I'm sure that movie he's in next will take care of Bucky being around. And if you want to take care of that guy being around, go to the polls.
Yeah, please.
On November 5th if you're a Democrat, November 6th if you're a Republican. Those are the rules this year. Pretty sure that's how it works.
Yeah, Republicans like going to places on the 6th of every month,
Yeah,
right?
that is their favorite day of the year. Or the month is the 6th. With the special one in January. Speaking of days that people don't want to be around on, CM Punk is taking time off to miss the Saudi show. He opened Raw this week and announced that he is taking time to recuperate from the Hell in a Cell match, essentially. That he loves his fans, and I'm sure he'll be back as soon as Monday after the Saudi show.
I don't think he'll be back that soon. I think it's possible we don't see him until Royal Rumble.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, I mean,
they teased the Seth Rollins program already. That's not a Mania match. Could be, but it's not.
That's a Mania match. That's absolutely the Mania match.
It was a Mania match this year if he wasn't hurt.
Okay, but he was hurt and everything worked out in the end because they did a great Drew McIntyre program. What if that's not the match? Then what does Punk do at Mania?
He faces The Rock for the WWE Championship.
Okay, no, that's not what.
After The Rock beats Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns in night 1, CM Punk versus The Rock night 2.
On night 3?
Yeah, Rock is doing double duty at Mania.
No, absolutely not. I think
he's got the goosebumps. He's got the mana.
That sounds like a venereal disease. I think Punk has earned this time off, and it's appropriate. And
He don't even work that hard. He goes to NXT
he
every
did
week.
one match.
Talks to the girls.
Look, Hell in a Cell was incredible, and I think by him taking this time off and doing this promo, it really sells that match even more than what work him and Drew even put in from bell to bell, right? Like the fact that Drew wasn't even on Raw. Punk comes out limping, can't even walk to the ring, cuts a promo at the top of the ramp. I loved this. I thought it was great. It's a smart way to write him off because he's not going to Saudi, and I'm glad that he's not going to Saudi. I'm glad he's sticking to his guns on that one. I wouldn't be surprised if that was like in part of the contract negotiations that were happening. Night of Survivor Series was Punk being like, "Okay, I'm coming back, but I ain't going to Saudi."
I'm kind of shocked that they didn't write Drew McIntyre off of Raw this week. And I kind of wonder if they're
Bad Blood.
I wonder if he
just
off. Yeah, but I wonder if like maybe they're gonna wait for this Kevin Owens stuff that they've been really weird about to happen and do a trade. So Kevin's away from Cody and Punk's away from Drew.
That's not a bad idea at all.
I've had a lot of great ideas on this show lately, and nobody's listening.
Yeah, but I just don't see like what does Punk do at Survivor Series? Like I don't think
Seth Rollins.
No, that's a Mania match. You wait for Mania on that one.
I mean, Seth Rollins came back after this promo and declared that he wants his hands on Bronson Reed, who was not there this week for reasons. Oh, because the match last week was so intense.
Right. But Braun also not there because he pulled a groin. I don't think they mentioned that on TV necessarily, but he's.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was like super hurt in that match. That's why he looked
legit hurt.
He couldn't walk straight the whole time.
Yeah, his groin was like ripped off of his body.
Should have stretched.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Not enough stretching going on. Anyway, I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe at the Saudi show.
What? Seth
and Bronson.
You could do that at Survivor Series.
Survivor Series is the next big event.
It is. I mean, the Saudi show is like a total like pit stop, non-canon. Like they even it came out today that it's pretty much confirmed that what is it called? Crown Jewel Championship is totally only going to be relevant at that show every year.
I thought
Like,
that was obvious. Why did they have
I
to
mean,
wait
yeah.
until today to confirm that? That seemed very clear.
I mean, yes, but I'm just saying the official reports came out being like, yeah, that's only going to be acknowledged on those events, and that's it. The show is very like non-canon. Nothing matters on this Saudi show. So I think you hold off and you do Seth and Bronson at Survivor Series.
So do you do a Seth at the Saudi show?
Nothing. A promo or something. I don't know.
Fuck, we're gonna have to watch that shit and talk about it.
Yeah. Goldberg's gonna be there.
No, he's not. They made sure
Wish.
that he wasn't.
But
Unless
would have
he
been.
costs Gunther that match, and then we get Gunther Goldberg at Survivor Series.
Who could
Or the
possibly
world title.
care about not winning the Saudi title?
Yeah.
It's so
I
big.
can't- It's true. It is very big.
Who needs
If
pants? when you have a
anything,
belt
I would
that
assume
big?
Kevin Owens is going to cost Cody that match.
Maybe. Let's talk about that though, because you brought it up and you mentioned they are being weird about it, and I think that's accurate, right? Like they aren't like obviously they didn't show anything because they didn't film it. I don't believe. Like I think they just let it organically spread through social media and fan cam footage. So unless they like DM one of those fans and are like, "Hey, we'd love to use your footage on SmackDown," I don't think we're seeing any footage of it, and they're instead just like vaguely referring to it, being like, "Cody, like, how are you after what happened at the end of Bad Blood?" And he's like, "I don't want to talk about it."
Yeah, they're being very weird about Kevin Owens turning on him, which doesn't seem like a big deal to like be weird about it. I assume we'll get answers on SmackDown.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, they even had Jey Uso like mention it in passing on Raw this week.
Yeah. And Sami Zayn went up to Cody and was like, "Hey, do you want to talk about?" And he was like, "Nope, I'm just here to watch a match." So I don't know. Interesting. I will see what happens on Friday.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will continue to watch SmackDown. Let's see what happened after this. Braun Breaker turned heel. Many people
No,
were
he
talking about
didn't.
how he
No.
is the next hot babyface in the company after last week, after admitting that he lost and was very sad and let Jay have his celebration. He said he respected him or something. I don't remember because it was a week ago. This week, after Jay beat Xavier Woods, Braun Breaker came out and speared him. Oh my God, who could have seen this coming? Why, Braun? Why?
This pissed me off. Look, last week was very clearly not a face turn. There was nothing. It was just he came out, acknowledged that he got beat and shook his hand and walked away like a man. Like, okay, that doesn't make you a face. That was just okay. And then we come to this week and he spears Jey Uso because of course he does, because he's Braun Breaker. And fucking Joe, whatever his name is, on commentary is like, "Why, Braun? Why? Why would he do this? I've never imagined this happening. I could never see this happen." It's like, what are you talking about? Have you not been watching the shows? This is very clearly part of his MO.
I thought his I thought his shit last week was like not a turn at all. But for some reason, the dumbest people on the planet were like, I guess he's a babyface now?
No, not at all.
Didn't make
That's not
any
how it was
sense.
presented.
No, it made no
I really
sense.
hated Joe Tessitore's call of this, and I hated how it was presented. It should have just been like, not why, Braun, why, but like, just damn, Braun, like, you're a jerk. You continue to be a jerk. Like, whatever.
I do like that he calls it a super spear when it's just regular spear in the ring.
Yeah.
He
think
runs
that's
so
very funny.
fast, though.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah.
That's what makes it super. Yeah, so Braun beat up Jay, and then he beat up Xavier and Kofi. Okay.
Well, that's simplifying it a little bit, right? I mean, Kofi wanted
Oh yeah,
to
Xavier
help.
didn't want to help.
Yeah, and Xavier was very reluctant to. Kofi got his ass kicked, and then Xavier became a casualty. So I'm sure next week this will develop the animosity between New Day. Which, man, I know we say this every week, but I hope it doesn't lead to a split. If anything, it should just be a heel turn for the entire group, or a Big E return that helps
Fixes
fix
everything.
things. Yeah,
Big E needs to return and be like, "Yo, Kofi, Xavier's right. Get your shit together," and they're all heels.
yeah. I think that's the play here. I do not need to see Xavier Woods versus Kofi Kingston. I don't. I have zero interest in that.
I don't think people would eat it. Like, they would just watch and be like, "I don't like this."
Yeah, right.
It ain't gonna work. Most tag teams that you like splitting up doesn't work. Mainly because some of those guys aren't singles competitors, like Crime Time, when they split. That didn't work. But they also shouldn't have split. And I don't think New Day needs to split.
Why are you comparing those two teams?
I'm just thinking of the most recent tag team that split that I can think of. I guess the Hardys could be an example too.
It's Crime Time from 15 years ago.
Yeah, I guess the Usos split, and you know what? That didn't click either. I'm just adding to my list of things that didn't work. Don't split the Usos. Don't split Crime Time. Don't split the Hardys. You can split Edge and Christian, but you'd be wrong to do it.
Hold on, you're saying that was a wrong split to do?
Kind
that
of.
very much worked out for everybody involved.
Yeah, it kind of did. But the rest of them, the Dudleys, remember when they split the Dudleys for no fucking reason?
Yeah, that was
During
bad.
the brand split? Oh, now he's Reverend Devon?
Hey, it gave us Deacon Batista.
I think people, if I remember correctly, the split happened after WrestleMania 2002. And then Devon was the Reverend with Deacon for a little bit. And then Survivor Series 2002, they said, fuck it. He put the Dudleys back together. So like a summer, they were split and it was stupid. Don't split up your good tag teams. Split up your bad ones.
Like,
Let me think. DIY, you could split up and they could feud with each other again.
I don't
But
need
they're
to
a good
see
tag
that
team.
either.
They're a
They've
good tag
feuded
team.
a billion times.
You could split up the bloodline and fire half of them.
Okay, I'm on board with that one.
I don't know. You could split up the Brawling Brutes and have them feud with each other over the name Butch.
I think they're doing that.
They did that. So we got the what was it? What did they call it? The
Donnybrook match.
The Donnybrook.
Old fashioned Donnybrook.
It's a Irish themed hardcore match.
Yeah.
It was great. They beat the fuck out of each other.
It was really good. My girlfriend walked in the middle of this match and she was very confused. She was like, "Why is there a bar outside of the ring?" And I was like, "It's an old fashioned Donnybrook match." And she was like,
I think there should be
whatever
bars
that
outside of the
fucking
ring at
means.
all times. But yeah, there were some great spots in this match.
This was really good.
At one point, I hated the finish, honestly, but
What?
yeah, it didn't make sense for a guy to beat his opponent with no hands.
Oh, it was badass.
I would say unless
It
you're
was badass,
badass.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're both badass. I loved the Celtic cross off the kegs through the tables.
It wasn't.
That was
It was a
great.
white noise, not a Celtic cross.
The fuck's the difference?
One's a power bomb, the other
Yeah.
is an air raid crash.
Didn't Finley call it the Celtic cross?
Maybe.
I think he did.
I don't know.
Somebody
Finley
will
moves.
fact check me. Doesn't matter. He did the move through the tables off the thing. That was
was
cool.
Can I say something that bugs me specifically about the white noise? Is that whenever anyone else besides Sheamus does an air raid crash, they call it white noise. And I'm like,
that's the move now.
but why? But why? I understand why it's white noise when Sheamus does it, because look at him.
Are you saying Drew McIntyre ain't white?
I'm saying that he's not the he doesn't illuminate quite the same way when you shine bright lights on him the way that Sheamus does.
So if Carmelo Hayes were to do a white noise, what do you think they would call it?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to make a comment on that. It would be hymn noise.
No, you know what it'd be?
What?
this a Night at the Roxbury bit?
No. Someone out there got it. It's fine.
What
The
was
sound
that?
you stopped my heart.
What was that?
The ambulance coming to get me.
Do you guys not know? Man.
I'm too old to be on TikTok. What are you talking
No,
about?
it's not a TikTok.
Is this a Be Real?
No one uses Be Real no more. Be Real's over.
That's not what they told me yesterday at work.
This is probably not the week for me to make this joke when our one black host is not here, but he could.
Anyways, they should call it the air raid crash. That's my take on very specific thing that commentary does.
Or what if they call it a super white noise?
That's only if that's the case. It should only be when Sheamus does it. That is because it's got to be.
You guys are trying to
special.
get yourself canceled here.
Yeah, I definitely am.
Kody wants to just call it the black noise and move on. Sammy versus Gunther was the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship, a match that I was very into because I fantasy booked myself into a shoot and was very excited to see Goldberg arrive at the end, cost Gunther the match, Sammy pick up the win and celebrate. Very excited about it. What didn't happen was that, because they had a kick-ass match and great near falls at the end. We even got some fighting spirit, which I will complain about when the other company does it, but I won't complain about it here when Sammy kicked out of a powerbomb after one.
And look, here's the thing: the
fucking ruled.
There's the nuance to this, right? Is that you say that, Paul, but it's not a joke. Like it is true. It works here because WWE does not do this all the time. It's more effective in these moments. Like when Sammy kicked out at one, that was genuinely shocking and cool, and the crowd got crazy hype, and I was sitting at home like, yeah, hell yeah, like let's go, Sammy. Like
I
that's
also
what
like that Gunther immediately
for.
put him in a headlock after being like, nah, you don't fucking kick out of this shit at one, and got him,
Right.
as opposed to like Sami Zayn somehow having all the energy to like walk across 3 ropes and do a Hurricane Rana. Like it made sense.
Right. And it's not being done in every other match or on every show. And therefore it's effective storytelling.
I think it would be
It was
funny if
very
they
good
did
match.
have a match every show that had fighting spirit and it was only Karrion Kross. Like every time he wrestles, for some reason he kicks out someone's finish at one.
So you want him to be the Fiend?
Just once,
'Cause
not
that
the
was bad.
whole match. God, someone shared that on Twitter this week.
The Hell in a Cell match?
This day in history, that Hell in a Cell match. That was only 5 years ago. It was the worst match of all time. Was 5 years ago.
It was very
They
bad.
showed him kicking out at one after Seth Rollins murdered him with a chair to the head. Stupid shit. Anyway, Sammy versus Gunther. He kicked out at one after a powerbomb. He ended up taking like numerous more power bombs after that. It was really, really good. I'm just bummed that I talked myself into a better storyline.
Yeah, you gotta stop doing that. You're just disappointing yourself every week.
I know. I'm just good at this. They could have had something neat here.
It's like people who do
Yeah.
fan theories and then get mad when the story doesn't go that way.
That's exactly what happened.
Who knows, Paul? Maybe one day you will get to book wrestling shows. I mean, I doubt it. Like
I don't
when
really
is a
want that job.
when has a podcaster ever, moved on from wrestling podcasts to booking wrestling shows?
Yeah, I don't know.
It just doesn't happen.
I don't know who would want that job. I don't want that job unless they want to pay me a lot, in which case my phone line is open, folks. After the match, Cody Rhodes came out and stared down with Gunther, and they put the Crown Jewel logo in the background so you get the photo op. And that is the match that is happening at Crown Jewel. Sammy versus Gunther for the Saudi title. What are they calling it? The champion.
Crown Jewel Championship.
The crowniest of jewels title. After this break, we are going to talk about, I guess, NXT. That happened this week. It was a little different. We'll talk about that. They had a debut or whatever. All right, gang, we're back. We didn't take a long break at all and talk about anything in between, so we won't fill you in. We're going to talk about NXT now. NXT was in St. Louis this week, the second week of their CW TV run. I guess next week they'll just be back in Florida.
What was this arena that they were in?
I think it was some like concert venue or something, and it rocked. I loved this. I think if no one's seen it, it looked very like kind of one night stand setup, a very small entrance ramp, not a lot of space around the ring, but it was bigger than the warehouse in Florida, and it was smaller than an arena, but it was packed and it was loud.
It was the factory.
Yeah, it was called the Factory, and it was like good. These are the buildings that NXT should go to, and they should be a traveling show that does these buildings, like just concert halls. Because it came off very, very good. It was loud. Jey Uso was there for some reason.
Literally just to eat. That's it.
Yeah. I thought they set something up with him and Trick against two people next week. Could be wrong.
Oh, maybe.
I wouldn't be shocked. They're still trying to get people to tune. But yeah, the building, the atmosphere for this was perfect. I'm so glad they changed because Randy Orton couldn't sell at an arena. They had to book this, and this is better than a half full arena.
Yeah, I'm looking at this place right now. Having like the audience be like on that stage where the guardrail is on the ramp. That's neat looking.
I'm sure it's a pain in the ass for production to like reconfigure that's the perk of arenas. It looks the same everywhere. But this is worth it. If you're going to travel with NXT, put them in cool venues.
Like in Houston, we have there too. That's cool.
Houston
is
has
Hammerstein still a thing? Can we go to Hammerstein?
Hammerstein's still a thing, but I think it's wildly expensive, and I wouldn't put this in Hammerstein.
Why not? I think that'd be a cool visual. No,
unless you can get the Sandman. He could beat up Ethan Page with a kendo stick. Book it. What's the place in Houston? The Bayou Center, Bayou City Music Hall, wherever that, like thinking? Right next to where the Hard Rock used to be downtown. They did NXT
I think
there.
That's Bayou Center.
They did NXT there in 2015, and it looked awesome. But it was only a house show back when they did touring.
I bet you could do one at Post now that would look really cool.
Yeah, like there's cool venues all around the country. Make this your cool brand that does like weird new shit, like it used to be. Do you have at least there is some talent there that you can make it cool, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I don't know. You can make NXT cool. It doesn't have to be the Chase U brand and the Dawn of NXT brand. It can be the Stephanie Vecure brand.
It's the hip young brand.
That's the hot girls that can wrestle brand, not
they like doing that too. Yeah.
Wrestle brand would be a funny name for a Russell Brand gimmick change. If he wanted to like stop being a fucking idiot and get into wrestling. No, he doesn't have to stop being an idiot. There's plenty of them in NXT that are idiots.
Speaking of the hot girls brand,
that Danny Palmer tweeting about the weather being made up by the government.
Do your research.
The sky's perfect.
Why don't you do some critical thinking and think about how weather always happens?
If I'm Shawn Michaels and I see that, I'm firing her instantly.
I mean, Shawn Michaels
get that shit out of here.
I don't think he gets to make that decision, but yes, that's dumb as shit. I know people are very against cancel culture and being canceled for their opinions, but if you're that stupid, you probably shouldn't be employed.
Oh my God. Speaking of the hot girl brand, how is We Have Fatal Attraction at Home doing?
They suck.
Garbage.
They were on the show. They took on
Toxic Attraction. They're called Fatal Attraction now, right?
No, they're called Fatal Influence. No.
Yeah, Fatal Influence.
Fatal Attraction's a movie.
Yeah.
Where the girl shows her hoo-ha. And Fatal Influence is Toxic Attraction at Home, But they like still don't have matching gear, so they just look
No.
like a ragtag group of misfits.
It's terrible. And they all do like they like simultaneously do entrances. Like they don't come out together. They all do their individual entrances, but at the same time, and none of them look alike, like are coordinated at all. And it's a mess. It's a terrible stable. It sucks.
It's just a poorly thought out act. Like they just said, we're going to put you together and give you a theme song. They did nothing else to build this stable.
And they
apparently JC and the cowboy girl have like a total history together that they explained one time. And it was interesting. And they're still like, they don't seem like they know each other at all.
They took on the medium 3.
The medium 3.
Yeah, well, Naomi wasn't there, so it's not the big 3. They had Kalani Jordan instead, so it's the medium 3.
The mid 3.
There you go.
Yeah, Kalani, Bianca, and Jade took them on. And of course, the main roster talent won, as they should. And then Roxanne came out and declared that she is very good and beats everybody, which is what her gimmick has become. And then Cora Jade joined her, and Roxanne expressed regret for not listening to her in the past, and now they are a team again.
Woohoo.
They're back together. The little short girls, they're best friends, and they will be seemingly challenged by Julia, who enters. And before we get to the next bit, I'm so upset that they took away the cherry blossoms from her entrance and gave her like weird snakes.
Yeah, why they do that?
The cherry blossoms look so much better. I don't know what the snake shit's about. That does she hear voices too? Like, is she Lady Orton?
Lady Orton.
I don't like it. Bring back the cherry blossoms. They don't do that stuff. But she went out there, and Cora Jade's like, get in this ring and fight me, bitch. And then she brings out Stephanie Vacour, who she claimed was an old friend. And now they are there together. So this is an interesting way to debut somebody with like minimal fanfare. I guess because they just were like, everyone knows.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Seems like a pretty big spot for her. I don't know what else you would want.
I don't know, like
immediately put into a program involving the women's champion.
Yeah, she's in a hot spot. I just thought it was an interesting way to like debut her with a video last 2 weeks ago, and then just being back up here. But it's kind of like what's his name, Hideo Itami, where he just kind of showed up as Finn Balor's backup.
Well, hopefully this works out better for her than it did for him.
I'm sure it will.
I will say Roxanne was the worst part of this segment.
Come on.
She like Cora Jade has improved greatly on the mic, and I thought looked really good here.
I thought Cora Jade was extremely nervous on the mic on this delivery because she was talking so fast.
It didn't. It seemed confident to me, not nervous.
It came off to me like a speed run.
Interesting. I don't know. I believe her more as a heel than I do Roxanne.
Sure, I buy her as a heel more than Roxanne too, but it is what it is. I think they're too cute to hate. How about that? They seem like nice little girls. We don't want to boo them. We want to cheer them. It is interesting how much like they kind of do look like, 20 somethings, and Julia and Stephanie are like, they look like adults.
How old are they?
I don't know. They're probably the same age. They just look, I don't know, different. I'm not sure what I'm getting at here. They just seem like
Julia's 30.
Like, oh, is she?
Yeah.
She's an adult. That makes sense.
So you only become an adult when you're 30?
That's true. Yeah. Many people say that. Once you're 30, you can be an adult.
Stephanie's my age. She's 31.
Okay, I don't believe you're 31.
I am 31. I am almost 32, actually. About 2 more months.
Wow, then you'll be a real big boy.
Yeah. Big boy Kody.
I thought this was cool, though. I like this tag match setup. I think they teased both of them picking up the title at the end and looking at each other like, I want this too. So the world title, the women's title program here, there's a lot that they can do.
Yes.
It's
A lot of ways they
unfortunate.
go.
Like this whole program, all 4 of these women are on a completely different level than the rest of the roster.
Mhm. I also appreciated the fact that Stephanie and Julia came out and just immediately stormed the ring and started fighting.
Didn't talk.
I don't need them to talk.
Yeah, you like when your women don't speak.
No,
Unless spoken to.
no. Look, English is their second language, so unless they're going to cut promos in their native tongue, which I don't mind at all, like I don't need them to. I don't need them to force these ladies to speak English. Like, it's not necessary. Not every wrestler needs to talk. Some can just be badass. And
I don't mind them dropping a sentence or two here. It worked for Asuka. Like,
sure,
as they're getting their feet on the ground.
Right. But these like
don't have Funaki translate for Julia ever again.
Yeah, right.
Where she talks for an hour and then Funaki's like, she said she would like to fight you. Unless you want to do the Kai and Tai thing again, which I know is problematic, but I'm okay with it. I know Shane McMahon might be busy soon, but
you want Julia to choppy Roxanne's pee-pee?
No, I want them to do the indeed bullshit again.
No.
It's before Noah's time.
Yeah, Noah has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It was so problematic, but so cool. No, a long time ago, there's a tag team called Kai and Tai, and it was...
I've heard a lot about them.
It was Taka Michinoku and Funaki, and they were the evil Japanese men from overseas. And their shirts even had the red sun on it, and it said evil on it, and on the back it said indeed. And they would come out and they'd speak a lot of Japanese, and then over the loudspeaker would be an English translator, which was just Shane McMahon doing a silly anime voice.
Oh boy.
And it was great.
It
was bad in 2024, but it was actually great. People who can't separate times need to grow up. It was really good.
Separate the art from the artist.
It was a great theme song too. Kai and Tai ruled. I agree with Kody. Julia and Stephanie should be Kai and Tai 2.0.
He did not say that.
I think that's what Kody said, but his internet seems to be down. He's not even disputing it.
I'm okay. All right. Hello? Is this thing on?
Yeah, I agree. Cody's right. Kai and Tai 2.0.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip Paul just saying Cody's right. I agree.
Yeah, don't do that. Main event was the Randy Orton match with what's his name?
The young OG, Javon Evans.
That's it, Javon Evans. I liked this quite a bit. I know that Kody, you were upset at the finish. I'm less bothered by it than anybody else in the world, but this match was pretty great, and both guys worked really, really well together. Orton came off like he was having a blast. I bet if you put him on NXT, he'd have the most fun in his career.
I thought this was excellent. Like, I thought it was perfectly produced, perfectly executed up until the finish. And I don't think the finish completely ruins it. It was just kind of a deflating, like, damn. Because, like, the whole...
You know what they wanted to do.
Match. Yeah, the whole reason they even booked this match was because, hey, this dude can do some cool flips. Orton likes catching people in RKOs. Let's put them together. But leading up to it, I thought excellent, like, psychology here. Like, Orton was very much toying with him, underestimating him. Javon Evans would hit like these, flashy moves that would catch Orton off guard, and he would underestimate. And it was looking really, really good. And then, obviously the big finish was going to be this twisting corkscrew something that Javon Evans was, jumping off the top rope trying to hit, and Orton attempted to catch him in the RKO, and they just totally completely missed. Like, they didn't even come close to connecting it. But Orton, being a pro, he obviously, just picked him up and just hit an old school RKO,
which is great. I'm fine with, we've talked about it before. I'm fine with botches because it makes things seem more authentic.
Sure.
Like, not everything has to be perfect and fluid. And, if it was, we wouldn't have a name of this podcast. So I'm shocked we didn't get a...
I know. How did Booker not say it there? Yeah.
I don't know. I think everything just happened too fast to say anything. I wonder if they practiced this spot at all, because it seemed... I've seen people placing blame which pisses me off so much because Javon Evans fucked up. No, he didn't. He did his corkscrew just fine. Orton didn't catch him. This placement was bad. It has nothing to do with who was in there. It just didn't happen. It's not this guy fucked up or that guy fucked up. Yeah. He did his corkscrew thing all perfectly. Orton did his I'm catching you with an RKO move perfectly. The problem is they need to move over 2 feet.
Right.
Not a big deal.
I don't know. The timing was just slightly off, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. But it was just kind of like, man, like if they had just hit that, it would have been like a near perfect match. But it was still cool to see these guys work together. And even after the match, you could tell Javon Evans was disappointed with it because you can pretty much see him on camera being like sorry to Orton, and Orton just being like, it's all good.
It even bums me out that he thought he was at fault for fucking something up there.
Yeah.
Like, I guess he thought he didn't jump far enough, but the reality is, like, you tried something and it didn't work. Big deal. And I think the post-match of him outright apologizing and Orton being like, don't worry about it. Like, you're good. I thought that just spoke a lot. I think I would love to see an Orton NXT run, honestly. I think he could do some really cool shit down there. And I think he'd have a lot of fun.
That'd be like the opposite of the Legend Killer.
The future maker?
Future
Randy Orton?
Maker. The rookie slayer. Or something there.
Birther?
The what?
Did you say birther?
What? Killer's the opposite of birth.
Oh.
He's the rookie birther.
The rookie pro-lifer, Randy Orton.
That sounds like a magic card.
The rookie aborter?
Jesus.
JD Vance would be like, I hear they're aborting rookies in NXT after birth.
There are states that let you do it. Oh my god.
They're doing it in Florida. So not the not the best NXT run in the last 2 weeks, because I think it's extremely insane to me that they did not bring out Joe Hendry for either of these shows in a crowd that would be so receptive to that act. Kind of blows my mind, but he technically doesn't work there. So Can he get back to that TNA shit quick?
I saw a local ad here. He's doing like a signing in Connecticut next month, and I'm debating whether or not
I hope it's a fucking contract signing at WWE headquarters.
Oh shit, that's true. That is in Connecticut, isn't it?
Yeah,
maybe
that's what
on his way.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I've enjoyed the last 2 NXT shows on the road. I do wonder what the Florida show is going to look like. It's my understanding they've changed the warehouse up completely. That said,
needed it. Oh my god.
Does it exist today? I don't know the hurricane fallout from the last 24 hours, but
I was going to say it might be underwater.
Yeah, you saw the footage of
NXT Under the Sea,
right?
Yeah, but like, you got a baseball field with a tent on top. Of course, a windstorm's going to blow it off.
God, NXT Under the Sea. They should do that. They should have NXT in an aquarium. Speaking of fun, interesting places to do it.
NXT Under the Sea is the Chase You Prom, where the loud girl goes to. Oh my god, that's so perfect. The loud girl and the deaf guy being paired together.
Shouldn't it be like Homecoming?
I would say, I sure do remember my college prom.
Whatever, Chase You's not real.
You know what they should do? They should open NXT next week in Florida with Shane Helms coming out. Massive heat.
For what? Just to get food? They would cheer me anyway. Those weirdos. Anyway, speaking of weirdos, we're a bunch of weirdos hosting this podcast, and something we haven't talked about in a while, I feel like, is AEW, which does have a pay-per-view this weekend, which we will talk about right after this little break here. All right, we're back, folks. we are going to talk about this weekend's AEW Pay-Per-View Wrestle Dream and a little bit of Dynamite this week, which I can comfortably say 100% of us did not watch.
I don't think anybody watched the show.
Period. If you saw the ratings, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. Nobody watched this show.
Listen, I wanted to watch Title Tuesday, but I was busy.
Busy doing what?
Having a job.
Oh, okay.
In video production when you have a weird schedule sometimes.
Well, if you were video producing the show, you would have seen it.
The file's too big.
Probably would have had better audio quality too, I'm sure. A couple things that came out of Dynamite. The first thing, I don't know what the follow-up was. I know that Chris Statlander did get involved with something on Dynamite, but the story that came out earlier this week was that they have dropped the pairing of Statlander and Stokely because they just don't know what to do. So they are just turning her babyface.
That's wild. Like, this company does this way too much where they turn people just for the convenience factor of, oh, we want to do this one program, but we need one of them to be heel. They just did it with Swerve and Hangman Page, despite what some people might try to convince you of. They did it with the BCC like constantly. One week they were faces, one week they were heels. Like, I'm sick of it. What was the point of turning her heel? Just to do a match or two with Willow Nightingale?
That no one remembers?
I mean, they did have a pretty good match.
Yeah, the street fight was great.
But like, if you want Statlander to be a babyface, why not just turn her and Stokely babyface? People love Stokely.
People do love Stokely.
Imagine having a manager who doesn't fucking suck.
What do you do now?
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I really hope that they figure out something for him to do. Because, like, honestly, for Stat, I think she is a much more natural babyface. Like, I think she got there eventually with her heel stuff, but at first it was pretty rough because I think it's just hard for her to be mean because I think she's just like a naturally nice person. So I think that this will be better for her character wise, but yeah, I'm worried about Stoke more than anything.
I'm sure they'll find a spot for him. First of all, they don't get rid of anybody, so you don't have to worry about that. But to me, it's just like, why not just turn him face with her? They could just be the fun baby faces who dunk on people, send funny tweets. I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why split them up? Why'd you pair them at all? If that's all you had was, we want to do one program. This is my biggest complaint. Anyone who's listened to me talk about wrestling for the last forever has heard, then what? Everything is building to something. You need to have a then what? It's a huge problem in the wrestling industry. It's no one thinks beyond the destination. The problem is the show continues the next night.
Right. Yeah. It's not enough backdoors.
Anytime they were building like, oh, we're doing this for WrestleMania, like the Daniel Bryan thing. It's like, oh, he's going to win the title. And it's a big deal. And we built to it. We weren't going to do it, but then they talked us into it. They had nothing after that. That's why you feuded with Kane. Like, you can't have that kind of shit. If you're thinking like, oh, we want to do this one program, there needs to be, I don't know, somebody needs to be like, then what? Every single meeting about programs needs to be, what do we do after this and why? And if it is, I guess we just break them up and undo everything we just did, that's fucking dumb, and that person should be let go. Speaking of not letting people go, Daniel Garcia announced on Dynamite that he has signed a new deal with AEW, and he'll be sticking around, so you won't be seeing him in NXT anytime soon. How do we feel about that? Are we upset? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I mostly like Daniel Garcia, but I really just feel like he hasn't done anything of value in a very long time. Like, there's little spurs and moments and promos and matches that he has, but longevity-wise, there's no like standout program or story that he's
great. Well, okay, he had a great program with FTR, but all that happened on Collision, so I don't think anyone besides me and B-Rob saw it.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but did I necessarily want him to like go to WWE or NXT? Or not necessarily. I mean, might have been a nice change of pace, but the fact that he's staying, like, okay, cool. Now,
Then
Mike
what?
Paul was saying, now what? Yeah, because he's there, so let's use him. Let's do something.
I think for me, it's like, and granted, I have fallen off of the AEW train. We could do a whole podcast about AEW. I think maybe that's a bonus show someday. But for me, I just don't care for most of it anymore. None of the stuff they're doing is appealing to me. I don't like the characters. It's just not a product for me. So I don't seek it out. I will watch it sometimes, and then we'll talk about it. Like, I also pull the clips for these shows, so I see it, but it's not resonating with me like the other program is. And that's not me shutting it out, because I do genuinely like a lot of the talent on this program, but for some reason, something is just not clicking.
And I don't think you're alone in that.
Not, but Daniel Garcia's, I know that because I looked at the numbers this week, and I'm not one to be like, I'm not a ratings guy, but yikes. If you're not a ratings guy at this company, you should probably open your eyes to this one, because one thing I've noticed is that they have horrendous marketing. Like, no one knows anything. Like, they're not marketing their program properly at all. You don't know when it's on. If you didn't know this was on Tuesday, which it looks like 2/3 of their audience didn't, then they missed it this week. That's a problem that is at a much higher level than the product they're putting on TV. Like, they need to hire a marketing person, and I'm not volunteering for that role. But like I said, my phone line is open if the check is big enough. That said, like, the marketing for AEW is terrible. They don't tell enough people about it. I only see commercials on it for on the Turner networks, which is, I guess, fine, but they could do better marketing. The fact that they're moving around all the time and no one knows is a problem. Tony Khan's the only guy who tweets about it. That's a problem. But in general, it doesn't click with me. But with Daniel Garcia, like, I never got it with this guy. I know ever since he debuted, he was the boring guy, and then Chris Jericho brought him in, and he became the dancing guy, and everyone likes it. He's very great at technical wrestling, but like, I don't get it.
I really like his persona. Like, I think even before the dancing stuff, I just always thought, like, the way that he, like, walked to the ring, I was like, oh, like, here comes a murderer. Here comes a guy that's just gonna, like,
he has good swagger,
and he's got excellent swagger. I've always loved the way that Daniel Garcia carries himself. And yeah, the technical wrestling is great, but I've always, like, almost from day one, have been in on, like, the Daniel Garcia character.
I think he's a very underrated promo. I think he has a sense of realism with his promos that is sometimes lacking in modern pro wrestling, and he comes off very natural and genuine and, like, true to himself, and I think that comes off the screen, and it's very good. I think he is very, he's good in the ring, but again, nothing that he's really done, and it's not to his fault at all. It's just the booking. What was he? He hasn't been doing anything for weeks, and then they tout him out this week and are like, he's staying, and it's like, okay, cool.
I think that's part of why he was doing nothing, though, was they didn't know if he was going to leave.
Fair, yeah, that's valid.
But even then, it's like, cool, stick around. I hope they do something with him. I mean, please prove me wrong. This weekend, AEW Wrestle Dream, live on pay-per-view. It's been a week and a half since their last pay-per-view, I think. And if you miss this one, don't worry, there'll be a one in a week and a half.
It's very tiring, especially the fact that these are fucking $50. Like, that's crazy.
Well,
$150 in the span of a month. If you want to watch every AEW show,
they'll allegedly be a little cheaper if you pay for HBO Max. That's a tricky one, and I know that they're running a different business than WWE, but WWE it's been 12 years since the network launched, I think, almost.
That's crazy.
Give or take. And pay-per-views have been free ever since for WWE. And then AEW came to be, and they're like, when are you going to put your stuff on streaming so we can just watch it the way WWE changed the industry with how pay-per-views are distributed. And if you're putting out bi-weekly pay-per-views like AEW has been doing lately, and I know I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but if you're that consistent asking for $50. It's a problem when you can tune into a 5-match card that more or less delivers with the other show.
Like,
But
what other?
it's also though, like, it's a different audience. I think it's very clear that these two companies are catering to a different audience. One is mainstream, one is sickos, and they're proud to tell you that, which is fine.
But like, what other? Are there other companies that offer pay-per-view, type programs with a subscription? Like, I guess like what the Ring of Honor series, if you go in at the highest level, you get the pay-per-views for free, right?
Maybe. I mean, UFC costs money still, but UFC, again, different thing for different people. They're also used to paying for it. They don't have a UFC network. I think they did at one point. And it was also like, sign up, but also pay extra. But every time WWE's teased like, hey, we're going to give you all this shit for free, but WrestleMania might cost a little more, that is pushed back on so hard every fucking time that they never do it.
Now it's 2 nights.
But also, like,
SummerSlam.
But look at it, like, they're not charging for pay-per-views anymore, but they're packing these buildings left and right. It was almost, I almost think it was smart for the Peacock deal, probably put them in front of more people than anything else. I would love to see their book, like the books on this, because people would just, Peacock's free. Like, you don't have to pay for Peacock.
Yeah.
And the idea that someone who's like, oh, I want to binge watch The Office, and they get met with, do you want to watch WrestleMania for free? And someone's like, I used to like wrestling. What's going on here? I bet a ton of people got hooked with that.
They also have their own tab on the service. Like, there's movies, series, and WWE. It's like its own separate thing.
How do you put it? How do you classify it otherwise? But yes.
I mean, I don't know. They have a tab for
sports. So. It is cinema every week. I've always liked Peacock as a streaming service. I think it's neat. I like their makeshift TV that they have, where it's like you don't know what to watch, but you can put on like a channel and just watch Dateline all day if you want. That's good.
Other places are starting to adapt that too, or adopt that rather. Like Disney is starting to have live channels.
Because people forget TV rules. Let's stop pretending that streaming's great. TV's the best.
It's nice to just throw something on and you don't like have input over like what is being shown, because then that eliminates, the burden of choice. And it's like,
this is why I use the Spotify DJ. And my wife's like, why do you skip every song? I'm like, because I didn't want to hear it. She's like, why don't you just pick the songs you want to hear? And I'm like, because that's not what I want. If I want it, I don't want to hear anything. Like, I just don't noise, but I don't want that noise. And I don't know, TV's great. That's probably why I don't read books. But
I mean, it's like the thing that people talk about too, right? Like, one of the things that was ruined by, streaming services as opposed to going to Blockbuster is you go to Blockbuster and all the movies they have are just in the store. You only have what they have, available. And sometimes, they ran out of the movie that you wanted to see. So you have to pick something else. So you pick something else. Yeah. And then you take that stuff home, and that you're committed to that decision. Whereas with streaming, you have every decision at all times, and it's impossible to choose.
Yeah, that's why I like a fake channel.
Yeah.
Well,
anyways,
I don't know if there will be an AEW channel on HBO Max or just Max. I don't know what they call it this week, but they do have a pay-per-view coming up that you can buy with your money, featuring the following things. First, Swerve Strickland returns. That will be happening on this show.
So this is the debut of Bobby Lashley, right?
I think so. It has to be.
It's got to be.
We will also be getting a match between Hangman Page and Jay White, which is a program that kicked off after the Swerve match. Darby Allin will be taking on Brody King, which will probably fucking rule.
They've worked really well in the past, so he's gonna.
Have they not put a stipulation on this? I'm surprised it's not like a death match or something.
I don't know. I'm just looking at the poster.
Card. Yeah.
We also will be getting a 2 out of 3 falls match between Hologram and the Beast Mortis.
Now that if there's any match that's for the sickos, it's this one.
Why is
this is the Collision special?
What the hell is this?
I think this is for the sickos.
This is definitely for the sickos.
I saw that. I sent that clip in our group chat earlier. The hologram and whoever the fuck, the rope guy, of them
Commander.
doing that. Yeah, Commander. Fuck, I hated that.
The
That
rope
spot.
guy.
That sucked so much. I let's both walk across the ropes so we can do a Hurricane Rana that turns into a power bomb, and then I loved Jeff Jarrett on commentary during that, where he's just like, should have pinned him. Why didn't he pin him? Why hasn't he tried to finish this match at all? And it's like they did a big spot that led to, let me pick you up and do booyah fucking forearms, and then let's trade poison ranas. Come on. Again, I did preface this whole segment with, this is not for me. Speaking of things that are not for me, Chris Jericho will be challenging for the Ring of Honor World Championship against Mark Briscoe.
Whew, it's a good thing B-Rob's not on the show.
So yeah, I don't think this is for anyone, but not
I love Mark
really.
Briscoe.
I love Mark Briscoe too. That's the sad part, is that it's the Chris Jericho part, obviously, that I feel
Mark
like
Briscoe is very good
is for no one lately.
I did enjoy his segment on Dynamite last week. His promo against Jericho. Like, Mark Briscoe is very, very good.
He's so charismatic. He's really fun to watch do matches. Like, Mark Briscoe is great. He's got great entrance music.
I feel like I say this every time we talk about the Briscoes, but it's a fucking crime that it took Jay Briscoe dying for them to get used on TV.
God.
Because for years there was Briscoes talk, like over a decade, and WWE wouldn't sign him because they said some problematic shit at one point, which they clearly apologized for. Whether they believe it or not is one thing. We live in a 2024. Just because I hate Chris Jericho, it's irrelevant to his politics, which are also shitty. But I don't know. Like, these guys couldn't get booked in a main promotion at all until Tony Khan bought ROH, and still wouldn't put them on his fucking TV show until that tragic Jay Briscoe accident. And like, it sucks that's just where we're at. We missed out on so much. And that's a real bummer. And unfortunately, it's also a real bummer that Mark Briscoe will be facing Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Like,
I also hate that the ROH title is being defended on an AEW pay-per-view. Like, I know they're the same company. I know all that shit, but like, we need some separation here.
Yeah, like, I don't care. It's the same company. The NXT title is not being defended on Bad Blood. Like, this should not be on the pay-per-view.
I mean, if you want this match to happen, book an ROH pay-per-view.
I mean, how much of this do you think? That's the thing. How much do you think this is just they needed something for Chris Jericho to get on the pay-per-view, and this is what they came?
They just wanted a stipulation. I know they've been like feuding for a couple weeks, but I guess they wanted to add some stakes to it.
I guess. I don't know. I'll enjoy the Mark Briscoe part, and I'll maybe, I don't know if I can, like GoldenEye 007 on the N64 style this, where I can like put up a cardboard divider so that I don't have to see Chris Jericho and just get to see Mark Briscoe during this match.
Oh, I want to GoldenEye it with chops only, and Mark Briscoe chops Chris Jericho and beats him.
Yes. One shot.
Yeah.
From the back.
Yep. Also on this show is the Young Bucks defending the tag titles against Private Party.
I mean, this match ruled like 5 years ago when I saw it live in Boston on the second episode of Dynamite.
I'm sure it'll rule here too, but I'm sure it'll also be a Young Bucks match, which if that's for you, great.
And I'm sure it'll also have the wrong outcome with the Bucks retaining.
I feel like they could do a title change here just to like keep people on their toes.
I think they need to. Yeah,
they need to. I don't know if they will, because like I've said it before, but Private Party returning, like when Mark Quinn came back and Private Party officially returned, that was supposed to be like the kick in the butt that the tag team division needed to be like exciting again, and it just didn't happen. And I think a lot of that, unfortunately, has to do with the way the Bucks have been booked lately. So
but also like all of their exciting tag teams are like the dork tag teams right now.
Yeah,
like,
right now.
like the male models team, whatever they're called, the 80s team that everybody likes.
Yeah,
they're not in this picture.
Outriders.
Yeah, the Outriders. They're not in this picture. Everyone likes the memes.
They're also more of a collision thing.
Why
At
is
least
there
right
a
now.
quasi brand split? What? Like, there shouldn't be a collision thing. CM Punk left.
I think the collection are on this show too versus the Acclaim, right?
Not on this poster. Is that another match? Because we're looking at
I think it
1,
is.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches on this poster that was sent in our group chat. So there's another match.
I have a
Yeah,
feeling
I'm
there's probably 3 more matches, and they're all 0 hour.
Well, yeah, there's also Brian Cage versus Atlantis Jr. for the ROH World Television Championship happening on the pre-show.
Yeah.
No, are you watching this?
I will watch this. I will. Like,
Are you watching it live?
Live, I will attempt to.
That's why I'm asking, because I want to find you a host for a post show.
Oh, okay.
Because B-Rob's out this weekend. I'm not watching this. Kody?
I will most likely watch it.
Yeah, I will. I will be.
All right.
I believe I will be done with the duties I need to do that day in time to be in front of a television to watch this. So yes, I believe I will be watching this live.
Well, I personally won't be trying to make a duty joke about this show. I can't figure it out. So I will just move on to Jack Perry. Will be
Dream
defending...
most Wrestle Dream more like Wrestle Duty.
Yeah. The thing is, it's probably like, in all actuality, these matches all look pretty fucking good. Like, Darby Allin and Brody King's gonna kill. Hangman and Jay White are gonna do a great match. The Bobby Lashley debut is gonna be hot. Hologram and Beast is gonna be something people like.
Sickos.
Mark Briscoe and Chris Jericho is probably gonna be okay. Young Bucks will do their tag match, and people will like that. Jack Perry will defend the TNT Championship against Katsuyori Shibata in a match that will probably be good.
Will it? I
don't know. I don't really give a fuck about Jack Perry, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll probably be like, of all the matches I just listed, below them.
The Mariah May and Willow Nightingale. That's probably going to be good.
World Championship. Yeah, that'll be great. Willow's awesome. I don't know if you do the title change here. You probably don't.
No.
Probably don't. I want Mariah to hang on to it for a little bit longer.
I think the only title that should change on the show is the tag titles.
I mean, if
we're also getting
what I'm looking at, I agree.
Because we're also getting Ricochet versus Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Ospreay for the International Championship.
That's going to be wild.
There's going to be a lot of Don Callis stuff happening here.
I think this match will be very good.
I can't imagine why.
Well,
what makes you think this will be good? All of the good people in it?
That's yeah. all the good people are here. And like I feel like most people would say, like, well, yeah, Will Ospreay. But like honestly, I think the secret sauce is Konosuke. Like I feel like every single match, especially on the pay-per-views that Konosuke is involved in, most of the clips I see on Twitter, like the next day, is everyone talking about some crazy Konosuke spot. Like remember when he did that spinning? He did that Blue Thunder Bomb through the tables to the outside. I forget what that match or what that pay-per-view was, but I am constantly thinking about that spot.
I like Ricochet's involvement in here because he feels fresh in this promotion, and here as well. Like I don't imagine this title changes hands, but I imagine the match is something we will talk about.
Yes, very much so. There will be stuff to talk about. There will be clips generated from this match. I'm sure it'll have people talking.
Speaking of things we'll likely be talking about for weeks to come, the World Championship, Bryan Danielson will be defending against Jon Moxley. If Bryan Danielson loses, his full-time career is over. And the rumors is that he's going to go have some surgery soon. Granted, he also loves to lie. So maybe not, but it sure seems like they're setting him up for a quick loss here against Jon Moxley. Quick in that his title reign is short, not
You really think
Nothing.
this is going to be the end of Bryan Danielson?
Yeah, maybe.
If
I'd be
they had to
surprised
pick
if
someone in
it isn't.
AEW, I feel like John Moxley is a good pick to do
It
it.
should be Darby.
What makes you say that?
Because it should be
Darby
someone.
fucking rules, and you're elevating somebody.
Yeah, it should be someone getting an elevation
Yeah.
and getting a rub off of retiring Bryan Danielson, not John Moxley, who doesn't need it.
Yeah, and Darby's I feel like out of everyone in the company who is like kind of at that level and hasn't held the world title yet, I feel like Darby is like ready for.
Darby's the only one.
return.
There isn't anybody else. The pillar talk is bullshit. It's only Darby.
Yeah, I don't really see Sammy out of all the pillars.
That's great. Not
haven't
seeing him
held
as
it
the
yet.
best.
Yeah.
Do we get Shane McMahon in this match? Because
Oh my
that is the goss.
Oh boy.
Is John Moxley's doing this on behalf of Shane McMahon, which, as fun as that would be and as interesting as that would be to talk about for 48 hours before something problematic happens in the world, I think it would be very bad for this promotion to be like, let's pick up a feud from the other company and build on WWE's history. And like, to me, them bringing in Shane McMahon as John Moxley's like guy to feud with Bryan Danielson over the time they were general managers of SmackDown. Run your own fucking show.
I think it's
like
great.
to me.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's great for fucking double sickos, but logistically, I'm like, I wouldn't do that. It feels, it undermines your product to say, hey, we're making our main program the other show or about the other show. But in
I don't necessarily think it's about the other show. I think it's just.
But you
the
could
history
also
of
make that
these-
argument about the NWO. It's like these guys all came from the other show and we're building on that. Maybe that's something they're thinking of with that logic, if that's happening. But also, I don't have faith in them to pull it off. I'm also pissed at this poster where the mountains are overlapping Bryan's shoulder, but they're not overlapping John Moxley's shoulder. One of them is standing behind the mountain, and the other is standing in front of the mountain, and I don't like that. It's bad graphic design. You should fire him. You guys see that now? I'm seeing it. Why did they just fade it? Why fade his shoulder at all? Like, why is his shoulder faded out? Why are either of their shoulders faded out? None of this makes sense. This poster sucks. AI ass looking background.
Oh my god. Well, hopefully I will be in front of a TV to watch that.
I hope you guys watch it as well. I'm looking forward to hearing a podcast about it if there is one. I said it ahead of time. I can't bring myself to do it, but I'm happy for those who enjoy it. All 300,000 of you.
It is nice that it's on.
Who knew it was on Tuesday this week?
Also, this is on Saturday. I'm used to these being on Sundays.
Oh, nice.
Pay-per-views.
What's Rampage going to be?
Or Collision?
Or Collision. Yeah, Collision's on Saturdays. What's happening on Collision this week?
I don't know. They've done that before. Usually when that happens, they do like a 3-hour program on Friday. Like they'll do Collision.
Oh, yeah,
do Collision that runs into Rampage.
All right.
I don't know if they're doing that this time, but I think that's what they usually do when they have pay-per-views on Saturdays.
I'd tell you that they would tell you what they're doing, but no, they wouldn't. So tune in for After SmackDown to see what happens on AEW, whether it's 2 or 3 hours. Anyway, folks, we didn't get all of it, especially the AEW talk. I'm sure you understood that. But we will try again next week. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the Patreon because we love your money. And for $3 a month, you get access to the Discord and ad-free episodes. And for $5 a month, you get bonus shows like the video game podcast that Noah and I recorded called Squared Circle Strafe Multiplayer. We talked about a bunch of stuff. If you haven't heard that yet, it's great. We also did the Vince McMahon documentary, and coming up is the Queen of Villains, hosted by the Didn't Get All the Japan Boys. They'll be talking about that in the coming week-ish or so. And more stuff that we're talking about. I will hint that there might be some bonding going on soon between most of us. So we'll talk more about that in the future, but that is in the $5 tier. Also, if you enjoy this show, write us a review wherever you get your podcast that accepts reviews, probably Apple. Those go a long way in supporting the show. What else do I need to talk about? T-shirts. You can buy t-shirts and all sorts of other crap at fatal4pod.com and click the shop button at the top. Get your exclusive merch, wear it to your shows, wear it to Thanksgiving. That's coming up. Wear it on Halloween if you want to be a wrestling fan for Halloween. That's a good costume, right? No?
Yeah,
Nobody thinks it's a costume?
Cargo shorts and a black shirt. You
Yeah.
can get our shirt in black.
I think that's true. You can get our shirt in black. But yeah, you can get merch for all your favorite Fatal 4 podcast shows there. And otherwise, I think that's all there is to say. See you guys in the Discord if you're there. Talk to you guys over the weekend if you're someone who's hosting the AEW Wrestle Dream review show. And talk to you guys next week.